What's up, Spud Nation? Week 7 ranking show. Lots of questions coming in regarding Randall Cobb, Julio Jones. That entire situation, those are big-time receivers that are missing on your fantasy roster. What are you going to do to replace them? Hop on board, let's find out. Here we go, Week 7 ranking show. We have the Saints and, of course, Raiders on bye week this week. A little bit of fantasy implication with those two teams missing out, but we will overcome and we will get that ever elusive victory this week nonetheless. So, let's get started. We can talk some Green Bay Packers right away. Randall Cobb going down 6 to 8 weeks. This is brutal. This is a big blow to a lot of fantasy teams out there. Randall Cobb, one of the premier receivers in the game, involved in all aspects of what the Packers do. This is going to change the entire look for Green Bay a little bit. Look for a lot more Eddie Lacy. Look for him 20 to 25 touches per game. And with Eddie Lacy, touches mean handing the ball to him and letting him rumble. Green Bay obviously wants to be a pass-first team. Look for them to change gears a little bit. Eddie Lacy going to get the rock a lot more. This slots Jordy Nelson into prime-time position. He is a number 1 wide receiver now. He's going to draw double, triple coverages. Defenses are going to strategize to stop him. It's going to go one of two ways. Jordy Nelson's either going to take off and excel as the Green Bay Packers' number 1 receiver, or he's going to shrivel up and fold, being the focal point of all defenses. Jordy's a great player. I look for him to continue his productive season. I like what he can do. If you have him, you are starting him, obviously. Aaron Rodgers and him, great chemistry. Jordy's going to continue to put up numbers. James Jones suddenly jumps into fantasy relevance on a weekly basis. The big knock to James Jones was he'll disappear from week to week. He'll have a huge game, then disappear. He's not going to be allowed that luxury anymore. James Jones will jump in and be Green Bay's number 2 wide receiver. Whether or not that happens this week due to his injury is still up in the air. Not sure what's going on with that. But James Jones jumps into very big value. We see what he can do when he's involved in the offense, and he's going to have to be a big part of Green Bay's offense for the next 6 to 8 weeks. Next, Jarrett Boykin. Yes, a name a lot of you probably don't know. Jarrett Boykin will be Green Bay's number 3 wide receiver. A lot of people in Green Bay love this guy. They've been talking about him for over a year now. They liked him a lot last year. He just never got on the field. Now he has the opportunity to show himself. Boykin was targeted a bunch last week once Cobb went out. Look for those targets to turn into catches, and that should equal some nice production. So if you're in a 12-team league, you had Randall Cobb, you're scraping the barrel for a receiver. Jarrett Boykin is a name that you can go out there, pick up, put on your roster, and eventually will evolve into some points. He's obviously not going to take over all the point production you're missing from Randall Cobb, but he might be a nice fill gap till you get Cobb back. Another thing you guys can look forward to is Jermichael Finley being more involved in the offense. They're going to need someone to catch those intermediate routes that Randall Cobb did, go across the middle, get the 10-yard catches, and try and break tackles. Jermichael Finley is the perfect piece to that puzzle. Now if the big fella can start catching everything thrown his way, he's going to have tremendous fantasy value. And the last thing to think of with the Green Bay Packers is Jonathan Franklin. Jonathan Franklin, he's a change of pace back. Might get a little more action getting receptions out of the backfield. The Packers loved lining Randall Cobb up all over the field, in the backfield, out deep, out far, slot receiver, everywhere. Jonathan Franklin could take that spot where they line him up in the backfield. They get a couple swings to him, maybe a screen here or there. But Jonathan Franklin, again, probably a free agent in the majority of leagues out there, is a guy to keep your eye on. We'll see if the Packers start including him more into their offensive plans. Now, as far as Aaron Rodgers, his value will remain the same. He's a stud. He's not going to throw it as much, I would assume, with the handoffs to Eddie Lacy taking place, but it's Aaron Rodgers. You will get points and you will get production. Let's talk about Atlanta now. Atlanta's situation is a whole lot different. Ouch. They're missing Julio Jones, done for the year. We knew that. Julio owners, you scrambled when you had to. You had a bye week to fill that spot. And Julio is a guy you could drop, just cut from your roster. I didn't mention this about Randall Cobb, but here we go about Randall Cobb. He has value. Keep him on your roster 6 to 8 weeks. The way medicine goes, the way some people heal, 6 weeks could turn into 6 weeks actually. He'll be right back there. He'll help you in the fantasy playoffs and could be productive in your Super Bowl game. Keep him on your roster. He's worth that spot. Julio Jones, obviously done for the year. So Atlanta this week, down Julio, looking like they're going to be down Roddy White. They're going to be down Steven Jackson, it looks like, for another week. Not looking great for Matt Ryan. His number one receiver is Harry Douglas now. Harry Douglas versus Darrelle Revis. I'm going to take Revis 10 times out of 10. Not a great matchup for Douglas and Matt Ryan. At running back, Quiz Rogers and Snelling. Not your two premier backs in the league. And the other receivers on Atlanta's roster that are going to get some play, tell me if you've ever heard of these guys. Drew Davis and Kevin Cohn. Just put a gigantic question mark next to both their names. They're not even worth going out and grabbing right now. They're not worth the long shot you need to take with them. I'm leaving them on the free agent market and staying far away until they prove something to me. A couple catches and I'm interested, maybe. Tony Gonzalez, looks like you're going to have to shoulder the load for Atlanta and their passing game. Matt Ryan's stock plummeting quickly. There are talks about trading Tony Gonzalez. Kansas City is a perfect landing spot. Keep your eyes open for that. Atlanta, good luck. All right, let's talk quarterbacks. Peyton Manning is your number one quarterback this week. Big shock. Weapons galore. No matchup is Manning proof. Tony Romo, number 2. This is a very, very strange top 5 this week. Romo, number 2. Phillip Rivers, number 3. I don't know what happened last night, but San Diego decided to nut up and be a running team. It wasn't pretty. They squeaked out a game. They're going to put the ball back in Rivers' hands and let the man go to work. Matthew Stafford, number 4. Aaron Rodgers, number 5. Andrew Luck, number 6. Jay Cutler, number 7, and put a very big exclamation mark next to this name. Huge upside this week. Fantastic matchup. I love Cutler's weapons. Cutler could go bonkers. If you're coming down to a Jay Cutler, Michael Vick, maybe a Cutler and Matt Ryan dilemma, Jay Cutler is your guy. Huge upside with this guy, especially this week. Love the matchup. He's got those big receivers, athletic tight end. Jay Cutler, I can't stress this enough. I love his matchup this week. Mike Vick, number 8. Cam Newton, number 9. RG3, number 10. I'm going to tell you right now, RG3 has not looked great at all this year. He looked horrible this past weekend. RG3 has been the king of garbage time. If he's in a close game, his stock drops quickly. He tries running the ball. He looks slow. He doesn't know what he's doing out there on that read. He wants to be the player he was last year, and he's just not. He's a step slow all the time. When he's trying to heave balls out of the back of the end zone, he doesn't even have the cannon to do that anymore. It all goes back to that knee. It's unfortunate, but the injury does play a factor on RG3. Tom Brady, number 11. Russell Wilson, number 12. Colin Kaepernick, number 13. Chad Henne, number 14, and Brandon Weeden, number 15. Two guys not on great teams. Chad Henne's got studs at receiver. I love Brandon Weeden's weapons and Josh Gordon and Jordan Cameron. Both these guys have the weapons to be successful. They're usually losing. So that means they're throwing more. I like them in the fantasy world. Fantasy world, they have great value. Probably 2 guys that are sitting there on the free agent market as well. Decent matchups this week. Again, if you're searching for a Drew Brees filler this week, not too bad of options right there. 2 guys you can take a risk with and expect some upside right there. Matt Ryan, number 16. Eli Manning, 17. Sam Bradford, 18. Ryan Tannehill, 19. Tyrod Taylor. Good Lord, did he look all right for the Buffalo Bills last week? Shocking, came out of nowhere, looked athletic, made the right throws. Welcome to the list this week. Andy Dalton, 21. Alex Smith, 22. Big Ben, 23. Geno, 24. And Josh Freeman. This is a guy you got to keep your eye on. It's expected that he starts this week for Minnesota. Minnesota's got okay weapons at wide receiver. End of the day, they're a running team. Look for Josh Freeman to hopefully include Kyle Rudolph in his plans. Receivers or quarterbacks always get fixated on one receiver. Kyle Rudolph is the best guy on that team. Jumping to running backs. Adrian Peterson will bounce back. He should have a monster game this week. LaShawn McCoy, number 2. Jamal Charles, number 3. Matt Forte, number 4. Marshawn Lynch, number 5. There was a lot of tough matchups this week. A lot of matchups I did not like. Marshawn Lynch is involved in one of them. Marshawn Lynch is usually matchup proof, and I am just banking on that being the case this week. Arizona's been very, very good against the run. They're shutting down a lot of good running backs. Seattle's going to try to run the ball, and I would expect they'll be able to with Marshawn Lynch. Alfred Morris, number 6. Arian Foster, number 7. Ray Rice, number 8. Doug Martin, number 9. Number 10, Reggie Bush. Number 11, Noshawn Moreno. Number 12, Brandon Jacobs. 13, my man Randall from Dallas. This was a guy I talked about all preseason long. If you bought my draft guide, you saw how much I like this kid. He was the best running back in the preseason. He looked fantastic. He's getting his shot now with the ever injury-ridden DeMarco Murray hitting the pines with injury again. I'm excited. I like Randall a lot. I think he could bring a different element to the table for Dallas. Let's see him in action this week. Frank Gore, 14. Fred Jackson, 15. Trent Richardson, 16. Eddie Lacy, number 17. You Eddie Lacy owners out there, enjoy what you're about to see for the next month. Eddie Lacy is going to be involved heavily. Look for points and look for them in bunches. Giovanni Bernard, 18. 19, I got a little bit of timeshare here. Le'Veon Bell and D'Angelo Williams. Number 20, Zach Stacy. High volume carries. He's productive. They might have found themselves a nice running back there in St. Louis. Stephen Ridley. Goodness gracious. The guy's got all the talent in the world. He plays on a pretty good offensive team. Last week, he got to run the ball. Scored 2 touchdowns. Looked really good. Are they going to allow Stephen Ridley to carry the rock? Tough matchup against the Jets defense that is pretty darn good. I just don't trust his head coach enough to put him in my starting lineup. I have one of my clients has a guy like Trent Richardson and Reggie Bush, and then for flex you have a guy like Eddie Lacy or Stephen Ridley. I'm putting Eddie Lacy in there. I know the carries are going to happen. They're guaranteed carries. Whereas Stephen Ridley could be the more productive back. He could have the 100-yard games, the 2 touchdowns that we were used to last year. But I just don't trust his coach enough. Let him give you another week of production. Let him earn that starting spot, solidify that, and then we can move forward with Stephen Ridley. Chris Johnson, 22. Lamar Miller, 23. CJ Spiller, 24. MJD, 25. Willis McGahee, 26. Ryan Matthews, 27. Quiz Rogers, 28. Danny Woodhead, 29. Mendenhall, 30. Andre Ellington, 31. Bilal Powell. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. All the other running backs are starting to get healthy for the Jets. Powell's carries have been chopped into a third. It's just not good. You're splitting carries with two other guys. Your value is going to drop and drop mightily. BenJarvis Green-Ellis, 33. LeGarrette Blount, 34. Jonathan Franklin, 35. And another guy to keep your eye on, Obamayu from the Browns. I believe I'm saying his name somewhat correctly. Chris Obamayu. He's starting to get involved. There's chopping carries with Willis McGahee. This guy is obviously the guy they want to throw to out of the backfield. Value on the rise. Wide receivers, Brandon Marshall, number 1. Great matchup, great quarterback against the opponent that, my God, Alshon Jeffrey is getting double covered. Brandon Marshall's drawing defense. There's going to be guys that are going to be open. Brandon Marshall, he demands the ball, and it happens. They get him the ball. Dez Bryant, number 2. A.J. Green, number 3. Demaryius Thomas, number 4. It hurts me, but Calvin Johnson, number 5. Best receiver in the game, still banged up. Are they going to use him in spot duty? Are they going to let him play a full game? What are they going to do? We'll see. A lot of reports out of Detroit is that Kelvin's sore. What that means, I don't know. Keep your eye on the IR with Calvin Johnson. Victor Cruz, number 6. Josh Gordon, number 7. Justin Blackmon, number 8. This guy's come on the scene with a thunder right now. Blackman's looking great 2 weeks in. He's making big-time plays, getting targeted like 18 times last game. Without Cecil Shorts, Justin Blackmon is a top 5 guy. Anyone that can catch the ball 14 times, get targeted almost 20 times, huge value in my eyes. He's got a nice matchup this week. Shorts is uncertain if he's going to play. Justin Blackmon, if he's a free agent, you're picking him up in a major way right now. Deshaun Jackson, number 9. Jordy Nelson, number 10. Wes Welker, 11. Eric Decker, 12. Pierre Garçon, number 13. Andre Johnson, number 14. Reggie Wayne, number 15. Keenan Allen, number 16. Hopefully all you, I talked about him last week, hopefully you all went out and picked him up because he's not going to be a free agent much longer. Another big game. That's 3 games in a row with production. He's seeing a lot of targets, turning into a lot of catches, and he's scored 2 out of the past 3 weeks. Keenan Allen, really good value. Torrey Smith, 17. Alshon Jeffrey, 18. Terrence Williams, 19. James Jones with a big question mark at number 20. If he plays, really good value. If he doesn't play, obviously get him out of your lineup. Antonio Brown, 21. Vincent Jackson, 22. Mike Williams, 23. It'll be interesting to see how involved Vincent Jackson is when Mike Williams is in the lineup. Without Mike Williams, Glennon threw it to Vincent Jackson a ton. Without is the key word. With him, it looked like Mike Williams was the main target. We'll see if Glennon can start sharing the wealth a little bit. T.Y. Hilton at 24. Kenbrell Tompkins, 25. Anquan Bolden, 26. Ruben Randall, 27. Chris Durham, 28. Harry Douglas, 29. Steve Smith, 30. Doug Baldwin. Doug Baldwin has quietly put together a pretty nice season in Seattle. Russell Wilson loves throwing to this guy. He seems to be the security blanket. I like him. In a deeper league, Doug Baldwin's worth a play. 32, Brian Hartline. 33, Greg Jennings. 34, Mike Wallace. 35, Robert Woods. 36, Larry Fitz. Terrible matchup for Fitz. 37, Julian Edelman. 38, Hakeem Nicks. 39, Stephen Hill. 40, Austin Pettis. 41, Sidney Rice. 42, Dwayne Bowe. 43, Brandon LaFell. I know when a receiver has a good game, everyone wants to run out there and pick up Brandon LaFell or any other receiver that just excels 1 week out of the year. Brandon LaFell is not a guy that you should run out there and drop Reggie Wayne or a Eric Decker type. Decker will have a quiet game. You want to drop him for Brandon LaFell? No, you stick to your solid guys. LaFell will have his game or two during the year. I'm not a believer. I'm not buying in just yet. Marlon Brown, 44. Vincent Brown, 45. And DeAndre Hopkins, 46. Tight ends. Julius Thomas. I can't argue with production. The guy scores a touchdown every week. I'll take that all day long out of my tight end spot. Jordan Cameron at number 2. High upside here. I like his upside better than Thomas, but as shown the past couple of weeks, Cameron's having a tough time getting in the end zone. Antonio Gates, number 3. Tony Gonzalez, number 4. Jermichael Finley, number 5. I'm expecting Finley to be involved a lot in the Packer offense. Number 6, Jason Witten. Number 7, coming off his huge game, Vernon Davis. Number 8, Martellus Bennett. Number 9, Greg Olsen. Number 10, Heath Miller. Number 11, Charles Clay. 12, Kyle Rudolph. That's very dependent on Josh Freeman if he looks to Rudolph. Sean McGrath, 13, Jordan Reed. 14, Kobe Fleener. 15, struggling with the drops. Garrett Graham, 16, Jermaine Gresham, 17, Dallas Clark, 18, Jared Cook, 19, Scott Chandler, Brandon Pettigrew, Brent Selleck, Delaney Walker, Jeff Cumberland. The guy from Detroit is intriguing. We're talking about 7 catches on the year, 5 going for a touchdown though. He's a mismatch against any cornerback, any safety. When you're 6'7", 6'8", and can jump and are athletic, and your arms hang down to the ground, you are a humongous target. So Faurrier for Detroit, if you're really scraping the barrel and you're in a touchdown-heavy scoring league, he might be worth a roster spot, but I just can't get with 7 catches through 6 games. Just doesn't do it for me. Gronk watch. This is the big question. Is Gronk going to play? Is he holding out for more money next year? He's got that big contract waiting for him. He doesn't want to get hurt again. Who really knows? I'm expecting Gronk to sit again this week. Again, watch the injury report. If Gronk plays, he's a must start. If he doesn't play, you've been dealing with it all season long. You will be all right. Some sleeper start sit value guys, some stayaways, just some stuff like that. I was asked to do a little segment on this. Quarterbacks, quietly efficient guys that are maybe are free agents, might have some value for you, or guys that are usually on your bench that have added value this week. Jay Cutler, I sang his praises earlier. Brandon Weeden, Chad Henne, talked about them earlier. I like their value. The quarterback in Buffalo, Tyrod Taylor, if you're really scrounging, he's athletic. Ran in a touchdown last week. Looked pretty darn accurate throwing the ball. Not a bad gap fill right there. And Ryan Tannehill, nice matchup this week. Could have some Week 7 value. Some guys I'm staying away from. Matt Ryan. I want nothing to do with him. If I have him, I'm trying to trade him, and I'm trying to trade him quickly. The Texans quarterback situation, want nothing to do with it. They should bring Vince Young in and let him play. Sam Bradford threw 3 touchdowns last week, but threw for like 160 yards or something like that. Just not good enough for me. I don't want that. 160 yards, and it's usually not 3 touchdowns, so staying away from Sam Bradford. A guy to watch, Josh Freeman. We'll see how he does. New team, change of scenery, weapons around him. He's a guy I'm keeping on the radar. Running backs, some guys to invest in. Joseph Randle, Dallas, talked about him earlier. Brandon Jacobs. Hello, Brandon Jacobs looked like an absolute monster out there this past week. Running people over, taking 3, 4, 5 guys to tackle him. I liked what I saw. I was pleasantly surprised and shocked. I'm sure everyone ran out there and picked him up off the free agent wire. So if he's still floating around, let him fill a roster spot on your team. Zach Stacy, Andre Ellington. I've been talking about Ellington all season long. Zach Stacy looking better and better each week. And Chris Obamayu, Cleveland Browns. Looks like his value is on the rise. The big question mark was Stephen Ridley. We talked about that earlier. Just too risky to insert in starting lineups right now. Guys losing value. Bilal Powell, chopping carries 3 ways. Willis McGahee, he's not valuable unless he's getting 26 carries a game. Then he'll get you 60 yards and a possible touchdown. If he's chopping carries, value is very limited. And BenJarvus, Green Ellis, Giovanni Bernard is clearly the best running back in Cincinnati. It's just a matter of time before he steals the bulk of the carries. Some free agents that you might look into. I'm not saying run out there and snag these guys right away, but they might have some value. Jonathan Stewart, they're talking he might be back shortly. Andre Brown, Jonathan Franklin, Sean Green looks to be coming back, and Roy Halou. Again, Halou in very deep leagues. He's not used enough to steal anyone's roster spot. Wide receiver, Justin Blackmon is for real. Danny Amendola is officially fragile. It's unfortunate. I bought in heavily to Danny Amendola. Steered a lot of people towards drafting him, and that's not panned out very well. Alshon Jeffrey, Keenan Allen, Terrence Williams, and Mike Williams I like a lot this week. Some free agents that you could look into that are probably floating around. Percy Harvin coming back quickly. Seattle will involve him a lot in the offense. Michael Crabtree, Cordero Patterson. You never know what quarterback is going to get chemistry with what receiver. Jarrett Boykin and Ruben Randall. Ruben Randall is a hot topic right now. He's been playing out of his mind. The Giants are looking to shop Hakeem Nicks. So if that slots Ruben Randall in as their number 2 receiver full-time, great value there, and he could still be a free agent in your league. And guys I'm staying away from this week, Larry Fitz, Harry Douglas, Hakeem Nicks, and Dwayne Bowe. There you go, Spud Nation, Week 7. A lot of information coming your way. You have any questions, comments, concerns, hit me up. Craig@thesportscoach.com is my email. Comment on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. My Twitter handle is @thesportscoach. A lot of avenues to get at me. All right, good luck, Week 7. Till next week, we're out.